This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Are you insane?
This is a sham.
No. Nope.
Y'all, just
It's
stop.
finally here. Drum roll. Welcome to DBL. I'm Sam here with Jeff, Al, and Tori. Today, we're looking back at some of our favorite celebrity interviews, like our hilarious conversation with comedian Joy Coy. Did I say that right?
Joe Coy. It said Joy in the.
It says Joy in the
Joy sounds like his mom.
I know,
Yeah.
I know. And sometimes I just like read it verbatim. I don't self-edit, but I should have. Joe, we all love Joe. He's been on the show a couple of times. And he revealed his hack for making perfect rice and why Chelsea Handler poured vodka in his ear. Take a look.
I'm gonna shoot this out of a cannon for you. Why did Chelsea Handler pour vodka in your? I just gotta know.
She's okay. So I went with my family on a vacation. Oh my God, she did this. She's something, man. So I had water in my ear and I couldn't get it out. She goes, just put alcohol in it. And I said I didn't have alcohol, and she goes, I got some Belvedere. Let's use it. And she poured it in my ear. It worked.
No way.
Whoa. Well, let's just warn our viewers. Hey, viewers, just talk to your doctor first. Don't listen to Joe Coy. Talk to your doctor.
Yeah, our DBL lawyers just had a heart attack.
I'm like, no offense. No offense, but we're going to need a medical opinion.
You guys said that. Let's go to a doctor for that one.
Tell her that we said it with love, okay? So you recently returned to stand-up. And one of my favorite stories you tell is about you learning how to make rice from your mom. We do have a clip, so let's take a look.
I remember that day. I'm going to teach you how to make rice, and this is the only time I'm going to teach you. Okay? How do I do it? You take a couple scoops of rice, Joseph, put it in the pot. Put water in the pot, squish it around. Clean the rice like that. If the water's cloudy, the rice is dirty, pour that water out. Put more water in there, squish it around. This is how you cook perfect rice. I want the world to know that right now.
So have you taught your son how to make perfect rice?
I'm teaching the world. You know what's funny is that's another one that Chelsea and I did. Chelsea made me go to her house and teach her how to make the rice. And of course, it came out wrong. I don't get it, man.
I like that. I don't know why. I always like when someone goes there with like an intention and then it
fails.
I was broke in college, and I was like, I'll just buy a bunch of rice to like stretch my meals. And as a black dude, I had never made rice. I'm like, add water and boil it, and it was just like a snowball.
You're not washing rice.
I did not know what I was doing. So everybody does. You're doing the Lord's work. Teach everybody how to make good rice.
Al, when you make rice, people are like, is this mashed potatoes?
Yeah. I'd be like, yeah, it's just a different take on mashed potatoes, all right? Just eat it. All right, now let's talk about the important stuff. Metal shop masters, because I'm dying to know, like when you're on a set like this, do you pick up any metal working skills?
Ooh.
And well,
absolutely not. Not one. He's good. Incredible. I'm telling you, I've never met these are the most amazing artists on earth. I swear, they took garbage cans, scrap metal, old cars, old car tires, and then they would just make these big, beautiful sculptures. I mean, these artists are not recognized, and I can't wait for this show to come out because they need their light. They need to shine because what they do is incredible. Incredible.
I love that. In fact, you have like a really cool metal sculpture behind you. Was that from one of the artists in the show?
That's so funny. I thought you were talking about the Christmas lights because I'm lazy to take them out of my house.
Not the Christmas lights. A little early there, buddy.
How cool is that chandelier?
Yes.
I was going to mention that when we first started the show, but I was like, is that unprofessional? But I was like, I love that.
Is that from them? Go ahead.
When do you put up your Christmas lights? Do you put them up after Halloween, or do you wait till December?
After Thanksgiving.
Oh, I put these up 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
They are not coming down ever.
There you go. So before.
The better question is, when do you plug them in? After Thanksgiving.
That's a good point.
You don't take them down, you just plug them in.
Do you plug them in all year round?
Oh, right when Christmas starts, I don't stop. I never take them out. It's like, how can you not love Christmas lights? I let them go until about March.
Yeah.
And then the neighbors are like, take them down, Joe. Take them down.
And coming up on DBL, we get Chelsea Handler's take on why she poured vodka in Joe's ear, and the story of a woman who is accused of a crime she didn't commit. But get this, the crime never even happened.
The box office is bouncing back, but we may never see the same crowds at movie theaters again. Let's connect the dots. A new study from the film research company The Quorum found nearly half of former moviegoers are no longer going to theaters. And there's a few reasons why. Concerns over the pandemic are at the top of the list. With a new COVID variant and no vaccine required at most theaters, many people said they just don't feel safe. Others say that going to the movies just isn't worth the price of admission. High ticket and concession prices have caused complaints for years, and researchers say lots of folks just don't want to pay anymore after staying home for so long. And many of the biggest blockbusters are now available from the comfort of your couch. Warner Brothers made all this year's movies available on streaming the same day they premiered in theater. Meaning those theaters will have to rethink those strategies to bring back moviegoers. And that is Connecting the Dots.
Listen, this past couple of years has been so crazy. Let's express gratitude for this year and all of the amazing gifts that are coming in 2022.
This year, let's try and put aside all of our differences and just be together and really be present in the moment.
From the Showman's, happy holidays!
From me and my family, we truly want to thank you over the years how much support you've given me and our whole team.
I know the holiday season can be difficult for some, and I just want to let you all know that you're not alone, and I'm wishing you a holiday season full of love and light.
From all of us here at Daily Blast Live,
We want to wish you
Happy holidays
Happy holidays.
and a healthy new year.
and my baby said happy holidays.
Welcome back to DBL. Earlier, we aired our interview with Joe Coy, where he revealed Chelsea Handler's hack for getting water out of his ear. Now, here's our chat with Chelsea, who also talked about that very hack. Take a look.
Good morning, boys and girls. How are you?
That's appropriate. We've been acting like children all day. So true. We are doing well. It's so good to have you on here, Chelsea. We talk a lot about mental health here on this show and how laughter definitely can be the best medicine. Since you're big on therapy, myself as well, how has it helped you make people laugh?
Well, it's made me calm down, which was the biggest problem, because I just found people so incredibly annoying. Even when I was on stage and I was the one holding the microphone, I somehow still found people annoying. So I had to really go in there and just say, listen, I have no patience, and yeah, everyone annoys me. I need to like break this down. So it kind of, you know, once you get a little gift, I call it the gift of self-awareness, right? Wow. You're paying somebody to tell you what's wrong with you. And I think that's the greatest transaction that it's the best investment I ever made. So it just kind of calmed me down and made me realize, you know, to stop thinking of everything from my own perspective and kind of take in what other people are experiencing that are unlike me. And then that makes you a kinder, kind of more patient person. So I needed a professional doctor to explain all of that to me.
Shout out to therapy. Now, your new comedy tour, and I appreciate you naming this so I can say this on TV, is called Vaccinated and Horny.
Yes. Now, did you have to say it like that?
I got to put a little stank on it. All right,
wait. We mean, he and I practiced this all morning. He said it perfectly.
Called me 4 o'clock in the morning. Get up. Now, I have to know, based on the title, what is the funniest thing about people having sex during the pandemic?
Well, my funniest experience about that during the pandemic was having my own COVID tests at my house, because at a certain point, after like 2 months, I realized, well, wait a second, this could go on for years, and I would like to make sure that I am keeping myself active, So I got my own COVID. They were called Q Health COVID tests. I had them in my house, so I would invite potential suitors to my backyard, where I would give them promptly, as soon as they arrived, a nasal swab, and then I would put it in the cartridge in my kitchen, come back outside and interview them for the next 30 minutes. And if they said anything that was annoying, like, I don't think masks work, or I saw a pinky ring, for instance, then I would come out and say, I just got your test results, you're positive, you're gonna need to leave.
Your pinky ring positive. Yeah. That's hilarious. All right, let's get dirty.
Pinky rings, yeah, that's a deal breaker. It's like seeing a studded belt. You're in and then you're out. You're like, oh no
more. Let's get dirty. Earwax. Dirty. I have small tubes, and I want to talk about this ear thing that's going on with you.
Sounds like a euphemism.
It kind of is, but she knows what I'm talking about.
Oh.
Yes, we recently had fellow comedian Joe Coy on our show. He shared a surprising hack of yours, which I've been loving. You pour vodka in people's ear to clear out trapped ocean water. Now, we warned our viewers not to try it, but we got to know, how did you discover this hack? I use hydrogen peroxide and some hope.
Hope?
Yeah. Hope. Oh, yeah. Hope is always good. Hydrogen peroxide will work. Isopropyl will work. Any of those things. I just love Belvedere, so I just figure, if I could pour that in somebody's ear, why not? That's my vodka of choice. But it does work.
It does.
I mean, I'll say it. I'll absolve you guys from any guilt. I'm not a medical practitioner or a doctor, but I like to think that I am. So I try all of my little things on my friends. But someone taught me that on a boat once, because I couldn't, when you're dumping around trying to get the water out of your ear and look like a giant idiot, somebody was like, you could just pour alcohol in it, and then you feel the sizzle, and it just evaporates, and you're like, oh, it's almost kind of addictive. I'm like, I want to get some more water in my ear.
Chelsea, you're not a doctor, but you do give good advice on your podcast. What's the best advice that you ever gave someone?
That's a good question.
Yeah, that is good.
One guy, Shane, called in, and he had been smoking too much cannabis, and he said he wasn't getting stoned anymore. And I said, well, let's do a 30-day break. I'll do it with you in solidarity. Let's clear your head out. You shouldn't be smoking that much cannabis anyway. If you can't get stoned, what's the point? And we did a 30-day break. And when he called back, he said in that time, he gained so much clarity that he came out to his family as trans.
Wow.
And he had been hiding that for years.
Aww.
And he had gotten a different job. Like, just taking that 30-day break for him was life-changing. And, that's when I would realize, I'm like, okay, I need to take this more seriously, because people are taking me seriously, I mean, the people who are calling, obviously not the whole world, thank God. But the people that are calling, I want to have an impact that's positive, that feels like you've got, your big sister in your corner.
You only heard our conversation. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Probably the cutest couple ever, Joe Coy and Chelsea Handler. Sorry, Karen. No, but can I be honest? She recently came out as together with Joe Coy, and she said this: women, I always thought I'd never find someone and I have to create myself into what a man wants, but I found the one. Don't change yourself. You can find him.
And even if they don't last, right? If it's not forever, like right now, they seem like they're having a really good time.
Just
a lot of PDA.
Lots. I love it.
And sometimes that's it. Sometimes every relationship isn't supposed to be to the end of time. Sometimes you just have a good 2-year run. Mm-hmm. That's okay too.
Mm-hmm.
Putting a number on them?
Yeah, summer, long weekend, whatever.
We'll be right back.
Go ahead, guys. It's your turn.
Getting a picture with Santa is one of those classic Christmas traditions for families with young children. But recent headlines say there aren't enough Santas to meet the demand this year. So let's verify. Is there a Santa shortage for the 2021 Christmas season? We went to these sources for an answer. Mitch Allen, founder of HireSanta.com, a site where people can hire Santas, said the Santa shortage is a basic supply and demand issue.
There are just fewer people than there are jobs.
Allen said his company has seen a 120% increase in Santa requests this year compared to pre-pandemic levels.
We just can't meet that demand And unfortunately, we're having to turn away business right now.
IBRBS, formerly known as the International Brotherhood of Real Bearded Santas, is an organization that represents more than 1,800 Santas and Mrs. Clauses. Following a year of mostly virtual visits with Santa, Stephen Arnold, IBRBS's president, said this holiday season, demand is up 20% for his group compared to 2019.
Parents want to have that one-on-one experience.
But while demand for Santa is up, supply has declined. Allen said the number of available Santas for his business is down by about 10% compared to 2019, which he attributes in part to COVID-19.
Last we were looking, over 335 Santas have passed away due to COVID and other reasons.
Concern for personal safety is another reason some Santas are opting to sit out. In a survey of 373 Santas, 16% of respondents said they're planning to take the 2021 season off because of the pandemic. So we can verify, yes, there is a Santa shortage for the 2021 Christmas season. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till. To receive daily fast facts to your phone, text Verify to 202-410-8808. And to sign up for our newsletter, visit verifythis.com/email.
Welcome back to DBL. Imagine being imprisoned for more than a decade for a horrific crime that never occurred. It happened to a group of women dubbed the San Antonio Four. Earlier, we spoke with one of them. Here is another look at her story in today's Freedom Files, Wrongfully Convicted.
Sometimes the weight of a secret can be crushing. And 18-year-old Ana Vazquez is holding her secret close.
I have always been a lesbian. At the age of like 7 or 8, I was interested in girls. Was I out? No, I wasn't.
The only people who know are her closest friends, Liz, Christy, and Cassandra.
They were also kind of dealing with the same thing, dealing with the same issues in their own lives.
In July of 1994, the women hang out with Liz while she watches her 7-year-old and 9-year-old nieces. But Ana notices a dark cloud over the little girl's father.
He wanted to be in a relationship with Liz. When he found out that Elizabeth was a lesbian, he just didn't like it.
Less than a year later, the 4 women are indicted after the young girls say they were molested by the group during their summer stay. The girls' Aunt Liz is dubbed the ringleader. She is convicted and sentenced to 37.5 years in prison. Exactly 1 year later, Ana and the remaining 2 women stand trial together. Liz's nieces take the stand in both trials.
My emotions to hearing what the little girls were saying was very heartbreaking, in disbelief, shock. It's really hard to hear that you are doing these horrific things to innocent children.
As a final blow, the prosecution puts a doctor on the stand.
The thing that hurt us was the pediatrician and what she testified to as being signs of sexual trauma.
All 3 women are found guilty of aggravated sexual assault of a child and indecency with a child. They are sentenced to 15 years in prison. Ana quickly learns that her sexual assault conviction puts her in harm's way, so she lies.
For a very long time, I always said that I was in prison for aggravated assault. You know, like I can look like a badass, right?
Then in 2006, a professor who is studying female sex offenders reaches out.
He did his own research on us, on the case, and reached out to an organization that focused on child sexual abuse and the LGBTQ community.
While the Dallas Integrity Unit reinvestigates the case, the youngest victim recants her testimony. Then the pediatrician comes forward.
She said, "This is not true, and had I known the science back then, I would have never testified to it. And I'll never testify to that science now."
In 2016, the San Antonio Four are exonerated.
And the feeling was just, in a sense, it was like You see, I told you so.
All 4 women are declared innocent.
Anna, thank you so much for joining us here in DBL. Your story is really important.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So looking back on your case, and I know a lot of it must upset you, but is there one specific moment or person that upsets you the most?
There is a pediatrician that was the quote unquote expert witness in this case that, kind of identified us as satanic worshipers at the time. Being so young that I wasn't really familiar of my surroundings in what people were thinking at that particular time.
I'm sorry. I'm shaking my head. I can't believe that Satan was introduced at her trial, and you have to give me a second because I've read this and it's still shocking to me. What was more shocking is after prison, you were able to meet with one of the girls that testified against you. What did you learn about her story in that meeting?
To be honest with you, it was everything that I thought could have happened. This was being told to her to say these horrible things about me. And it was just confirmed during that meeting. She was so brave to be able to come out to tell the truth, unfortunately going against her family and being kicked out of what she ever knew, but she was so strong and I completely commend her for that.
In the early 90s, unfortunately, there were a lot of stereotypes about the LGBTQ community. How did those stereotypes impact your case specifically? And do you believe that your case would have had a different outcome if it happened today in 2021?
That's a very good question. Do I think that it might have been a different time today? Maybe it wouldn't have gone as far as it did. But unfortunately, because I'm dealing with the Innocence Project of Texas as their outreach and education, I still continue to see these flaws in our system. Do I think that it played a part, being a part of the LGBTQ community back then? Absolutely. The stereotype was horrific. There was no public display of affection out there like it is today. It's so much more accepting. But back then, when I was accused of this, it was not accepted at all. It was almost like I was in hiding for so long.
After your exoneration, you said that you felt lost, but you were able to find your purpose again. How did you do that?
I'm one of the fortunate ones, and I thank God every day for that. Because there are so many people that don't find themselves again. They cannot get over the fact that this happened to them and, they've lost so many years of their life. Even though I am completely innocent, I was, compensated by the state of Texas. My record completely, expunged. I still have problems with coping to society. I have problems with trust issues. I have problems with my relationship. There's just so many different things that I think people don't realize that it does have an effect, and it's a long-lasting effect. There has to be changes.
Well said. And to those looking to help, speaking of which, visit the Innocence Project of Texas.org. There are multiple ways you can get involved in the movement of change. Thank you so much, Anna. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Plenty of questions have come out of the more than 2,000-page infrastructure bill. One THV11 Verify viewer asked, is it true there is some sort of driving tax or fee that you'll have to pay each year based on your vehicle's mileage and how much you've driven that year included in President Biden's Build Back Better plan? This claim and similar ones have made their rounds all over social media. So let's verify. Our sources, the bill itself, Michelle Nellenbach from the Bipartisan Policy, and Scott Hardin with the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration. Under Section 13,002, it states the National Motor Vehicle Per Mile User Fee Pilot Program is completely voluntary. The first objective of the program is to test the design, acceptance, implementation, and financial sustainability of a National Motor Vehicle Per Mile User Fee.
So instead of paying at the pump for a gallon, you would pay based on the amount of miles you put on your car. And so the provisions in the bill are to allow folks to opt into a pilot program, an experiment, basically, to see how it would work.
Scott Harden with DFA confirms their motor vehicle team has also not received any outreach from the federal government requesting they plan implementation of a mileage-based fee. He goes on to say any move to create a nationwide fee based on mileage would have to be established through new, separate legislation. We would certainly alert Arkansans if we received any indication this is a possibility. So we can verify this claim is false. This pilot program is included in President Biden's infrastructure bill, but it's totally voluntary, so there is not a requirement to pay a mileage fee. The only way to create a nationwide mileage tax would be to pass a new bill.
It's not unusual for current and former presidents to wish supporters a happy holiday season. But an online postcard that shows former President Donald Trump in a tuxedo is raising a lot of eyebrows on social media. The card, which we're blurring because of its explicit nature, was retweeted thousands of times, including by some prominent people who are verified on Twitter. So let's verify. Is the Christmas card claiming to be from former President Trump real? Our sources are Getty Images, Photo Forensics, and the official Donald Trump merchandise store. The former president is selling holiday merchandise on his website, and his Save America website links to this card, which is not the card that's going viral. No one within the Trump organization has shared the doctored card, and his spokesperson confirmed to PolitiFact it was fake. So, no, the Christmas card claiming to be from former President Trump is not real. Verify traced the original image back to 2019, when former President Trump met Queen Elizabeth. An analysis using photo forensic software showed the former president's tuxedo was edited to make part of the explicit imagery. Many of those who shared the card have since deleted their post. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back to DBL. We love sharing your comments and questions about us. In fact, Kayla has a question for Al. Are you ready, Al? Okay.
Yes.
She wants to know, what is the one skill you wish you had?
I wish I was better at like outdoor stuff.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
I went
good
camping
at that.
with you.
I'm not. I wish, and yeah.
Al put wet leaves in a fire to start
that would
a fire.
help. He thought that
I'm
would
glad
help.
I tried to open up, and like you guys really attacked me.
Hey, buddy, you're on the winning team.
Thank
You're
you.
just
That's
fine in
right.
the outdoors.
I was with Jeff. Saved my life. I would still be out there.
I remember watching you with the wet leaves, being like, "What is he doing?"
Not good.
Maybe I'm crazy
It was good
like
for
a
Tori
fox.
and I.
We did take that challenge.
And the next question is for me, from Carl. He asks, who is the rudest celebrity you served in restaurants or bars back in the day? Oh my gosh.
Spill the tea.
I would say back then it was Lindsay Lohan, but she was using at the time, so perhaps it was because of her
Right.
addiction.
Oh, we gotta go.
Right.
Yeah.
Drop the bar.
Bye, guys.